Hey, folks, it's Friday, July the 17th, in the year of our Lord 2026, and the election of 2020 was still not stolen. Just letting you know. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Andrew. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, feeling good.
Got some good stuff coming down the pike this week. Let's jump into it.
We have
Talk
a lot.
to me.
We have some numbers from the Economist YouGov poll, which is one of those high quality polls that we love to look at.
Yep.
And this is Trump's job approval rating: 37% approve, 59% disapprove.
Not great, Donald.
And it's not great. And if you look at here at the bottom, 51% is strongly disapprove. So
yeah, there's not a lot of daylight there.
No, the gulf between strongly disapprove and approval is massive. And we've talked about the sort of middle of the polls hollowing out. So there's less people who are unsure about where they stand on Donald Trump. And that is those people have migrated mostly into the strongly disapproval column. This again is going to be an anchor around all these Republicans running this year.
Sure is.
They are, you'll see them either choose between adhering to Trump as hard as possible. The super MAGA warriors will try to make their whole campaign about Trump. I think that's actually a bad move for them. And then you'll see
even in some red districts. Do you think? Because I think the economy is starting to smash even the Trump.
I think it will hurt in red districts. It will especially hurt those MAGA candidates who are not incumbents. Incumbency is arguably the biggest advantage a candidate can have in any given election, just generally. When you don't have that and you are a super MAGA warrior, you are at risk of being pulled down by Trump's approval rating on this and on the economy. And even in those purple districts where you have moderate Republicans running, what you'll see is them try to steer away from Trump. And the trick for Democrats will be making them, making voters see that these people will vote with Trump 96% of the time or 99% of the time. And, they'll try to dodge him as much as they can. I'm thinking about those districts in Pennsylvania, Brian McKenzie, Bucks County, Fitzpatrick, excuse me. Those kind of places, he will try to steer away from Trump, and the magic is going to be letting voters know that he votes with Trump 90% of the time. He voted for things like tariffs and the big beautiful bill, and he's backing all this immigration, the bloodbath in the streets that ICE is carrying out.
It's going great, Susan Collins.
Yeah, it's going really great. So they're going to try to dodge Trump as hard as they can because of this.
Right.
If you look at these economic numbers, it's devastating. Only 24% of people say the economy is excellent or good.
When you see that kind of wrong track indication, man, you ought to run. If you're a Republican right now, you ought to run for the damn hills.
Run for the damn hills, or don't run at all. Which we've seen.
What are we at? Like 40 now?
Well, I think we are in the 40s. But that number keeps growing of Republicans who have chosen not to run or chosen not to seek re-election or just simply kept their names off the ballot because they know that this year they're going to be, one, flushing money down the drain, and two, losing an election that could be the end of their career. So a lot of these guys are figuring, it's better to just hold fire for now.
Better part of valor is to try to lick your wounds and come back another year with a lot of these guys. And we've seen the results of bad economic news in prior elections, folks. In 2024, we saw the result of bad economic news where Joe Biden got beaten. We saw in 2020 where Donald Trump had a lot of COVID-driven bad economic news. And that was a major part of how we were able to beat him.
Right.
In 2006, George W. Bush had a terrible economic picture. Republicans got spanked. So there are. You can go back to Jimmy Carter. You can go back a long way. Economic mood will triumph even in this weird era that we live in over just trying to bullshit your way past it.
Yeah, you brought up those elections, and I think it's important to look back at our past midterms. In 2006, 2018, and 2022 are the ones that I really think about.
I'm sorry, I didn't mention 22.
Yeah, these were all elections where, 22 is a little different. 2018, I think, is one that we should really focus on.
Yep.
That was in the middle of Trump's first term, and they got smashed. I mean, it was a bloodbath, and that was a lot about healthcare. But it shows you that when there's a really powerful issue, there's a really salient issue with voters, and when you control the House, Senate, and presidency, you are blamed 100%.
Oh yeah, you are.
And it will drag your party down.
You own that pony.
Right. And Trump owns what's happening with the economy. He owns what's going to happen in the future now that we're back at war with Iran. And I want to talk about that too, because
it's going great.
I think that's a really big deal. And I think we have some stuff on tariffs as well. Oh, this is in hindsight, was going to war with Iran the right decision? 57% say it was the wrong decision. 27% say it's the right decision, and 65% say they want to deal with Iran.
Once again, I just like to remind people that when we left at the end of the Vietnam War, when the helicopters were leaving the roof of the embassy in Saigon, 29% of Americans still believe we were right to be in the Vietnam War.
Yeah. And, I think this is a really important issue. It's an important question that in 2028, a Republican candidate is going to have to come on stage and explain how he will disentangle us from this war with Iran.
Yep.
He or she. I think that could really sink a campaign, because I see no way that we make it to 2028 and this war is over because of the way it's restarted now.
Look, and I think it's a very acute point, Andrew. I think that's a very smart point, because there is no scenario where Iran is militarily defeated to the point where China can't prop it back up, or the Gulf allies get too exhausted by being hit with cruise missiles and cheap drones between now and 2028, where we can declare victory. There is no victory condition right now in Iran.
Well, there never was a victory condition that was anything realistic.
No, no, this was not even for a minute.
It's hard to even think back to the reasons why we got into this war. It's hard to even.
I know. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that ironic that it's hard to even describe the purpose of this war?
And that's because at the time when it started, it was nonsense. And you see a Rubio or a Vance on stage explaining how they're going to get out.
I don't. And look, the problem for all of them, if Trump is alive still, the problem for every single one of them is, if they say the president made a mistake that I now have to fix, he's going to get off his wheelchair in Mar-a-Lago and go on Truth Social and say, JD Vance betrayed me. I hate him. Little Marco lied. Whatever it is. Yep. These guys, they will always have him hovering over them.
Yep.
And I find that I keep thinking about that, like not just foreign policy though, Andrew. It's going to be the economy. It's going to be the character of the White House. The minute they take down the gold gewgaws, he's going to lose his fucking mind. All these things that they have sworn loyalty to him on. At the end of the day, I think that if he's alive, he will never stop trying to run the party.
Never.
I'm here for it for you, JD.
And
Marco,
he doesn't
good luck,
need,
boys.
He doesn't need a title. He doesn't need a position in the party. He doesn't need anything other than Truth Social. And he will use that. He will use that as a cudgel for keeping the party in line, making it more and more MAGA, even when he's gone.
Forever.
And it's the doom of the Republican Party. This is, I don't see a way they come back in a way that's strong or resilient as a party not for 20, 30 years. I think after Trump, we enter a different world. And that doesn't mean that Democrats are going to run the country forever. It doesn't mean that Democrats have control over the House and Senate in perpetuity.
But I think that the public perceptions in our polling and every other piece of polling we're looking at is, if you were to word cloud the question, what defines the Republican Party, the big word in the middle of the cloud would be Trump.
Trump
in the largest possible way.
Yeah.
So speaking of Trump, let's go back to that tariff thing for a second, because
let's see that.
There's the frustration on that is growing. This is not getting more popular.
So this should tariffs on foreign goods go up or down? 46% say decrease them, 23% keep them the same, 16% not sure, and 14% say increase them. I'd be curious to know what these numbers were if they were polled 1 or 2 years ago, because at the time tariffs to MAGA seemed like sort of a magic bullet to fix the economy, and that's how Trump was framing it.
Sure.
Remember golden age and all that bullshit.
Golden age.
It's going to be a golden age. You know, I think tariffs, we've talked a lot about tariffs. We talked a lot about them earlier in the year and last year. They're just really, really awful for the president, and they make the economy look worse. They make prices go up, and that's, you know, inflation is one of those things that, and we have some issue polling here. Inflation is, of course, top of the stack.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But I mean, this is just it's still the definitional economic thing hanging over Trump. He started to bring it up again in the mind of the public. We're going to tariff everybody 20%. All the endless discussion on it. I mean, even it's going to take a lot for even the Democrats to fuck up the tariff issue.
Well, yeah, I would say, you know, the easiest thing to do here is just oppose it at every turn.
I will repeal the tariffs. We will bring back American jobs by repealing the tariffs.
It's just as simple as that.
It's just that. We'll lower your costs by repealing the tariffs.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, it's one of those things. We talk about this a lot. The economic message for Democrats is not complicated. No. Trump has nuked the economy.
He
with
hurt
tariffs.
you. We will fix it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He hurt you. We will fix it.
I can't believe he did that.
Right.
And, you know, this was part of the golden age plan for him. This is what he was selling on the debate stage in 2024. And it's one of those things where the verbatim promises are the ones that always come to bite him in the ass. You know, he's going to bring prices down on day one, was the verbatim promise that he made.
Gas will be so cheap you won't even know.
It's not. I mean, this is what blows me away about Iran, about the war with Iran. There's no way he could have gone in not knowing that it would have raised gas prices. There's no way somebody didn't tell him that.
Everybody in that room who has even the most tangential, fractional, ethereal connection to reality understood what would happen.
Yeah.
I mean, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Defense Department war games that have been planned out over the last 75 years that have set up. You could close the strait cheaply by throwing out mines. You know, people, they forget Iran has a massive inventory of these old Russian sea mines. And folks, here's why they bought them back in the 60s and 70s or 80s and 90s rather, excuse me. They bought them in the 80s and 90s because they were basically like $8 a piece. I kid you not. They're these cheap Russian sea mines, and they just put them out in the water and float them around.
Yeah. And you know, the pause in the war, I think, was interesting. If the ceasefire had held, I think the pause in the war would have made more sense. But all we've done now is given Iran more time, and time is on their side. And we've talked about this.
They have got a deep play here, and the longer. The other part of this is, if Trump was going to do this, the smarter way to have done it, if you insisted on doing it, would have been to launch this in the summer of 25.
Yeah.
And then try to let it sugar out. But now we will still be shooting at Iran on election day, folks.
And it's funny, you know, you read the articles and it's like the U.S. has hit X and Y military target. And we heard from Pete Hegseth for, I don't know, 6 months that Iran was a smoking wasteland.
We had devastated them, obliterated.
I was told their military was totally gone. They were incapable of fighting back.
Right.
I don't know what happened to that.
They sank the whole Navy.
Yeah.
I've been told. That's what I was told over and over.
Yeah.
The Navy has been sunk. There is no Iranian Navy left. It's all gone.
No missile sites, no Navy, no drones. Yeah. That's what we were told.
Who knew?
And of course, that turned out to be not true. And the Defense Department, in other news, is now testing people for low testosterone.
Nothing cries out closeted gay dude like Pete Hegseth every time he goes on camera and starts talking about manly men's testosterone.
I think he probably spends a little too much time on TikTok with, the looks maxing influencers. I think he's probably, I think that Pete Hegseth may be sort of down that rabbit hole with, clavicular and those sort of,
Andrew, that's actually setting aside the joke of that, it's actually not a bad theory of the case of why he's so weird about this stuff.
I think he really might
He's got some reinforcement mechanism telling him, you're a manly warfighter, Pete. You're a manly man who's a manly man whose manliness is so manly.
I can see him with the ball peen hammer doing a little bone smashing.
Yeah. God bless. My favorite influence, or my favorite looks maxer story was from last week, where a looks maxer in Thailand, police came to his house and he jumped into a lake and did not realize he couldn't swim and drowned.
Wow. That's tough.
Nothing about looks maxing is related to brain maxing, apparently.
No, definitely not.
So let's bring up that issues tab.
Let's go back to polling.
Let's get back.
We got on looks maxing.
We'll get back to work, people. Come on, it's Friday.
So yeah, like I said, inflation at the top of the stack. There's really no surprise there. This is going to be the issue that sticks pretty much forever.
Yeah, you add the top two issues up, guys, and you get nearly an unbeatable combination of
and look, forces. Immigration is at a paltry 9%.
Yeah,
as the most important issue.
Mike Johnson pushing a $350 billion ad to the Pentagon budget, national security at 5%.
That's great.
You're doing great, Mike.
Spending the money well. Yeah, Trump can't outrun inflation. Republicans can't outrun inflation.
Nope.
The big beautiful bill and tariffs and the Iran war all mixed together in a pot. It makes for an easy message.
It's a
Democrats.
Gumbo of political disaster.
Yeah, and the economy is you see it in every issue poll. It's always the top issue. People are always thinking about whether or not the economy is doing well, whether or not their own personal pocketbook is okay. And when prices just keep climbing and climbing and climbing, you get the Joe Biden effect.
Weird. It's how that works.
Crazy how that happens. And the easiest message in the world for Democrats right now is, Trump is getting richer. You are getting poorer by the day.
Right. He did this to you.
They
helped him.
And everything that he's done as far as, his crypto scams and his the mining and the drones that his sons are involved in, all of this was enabled by Trump and Republicans, because we cut off these Chinese imports. Trump's family had an opening to start in the drone business and the mining business. Yep. And, this was all orchestrated to create an environment where corruption was easier. And it doesn't help anybody but the Trump family, anybody but people who are connected to Trump, Howard Lutnick included.
Which strikes me, one of the things that strikes me every day is a failing of our media to report on how the financial benefit to Trump has accrued over and over again on all these things. And Americans, when they start figuring this out at some point, are going to be so mad because Trump has gotten even richer than he claimed.
I was thinking about this the other day. It's one of those things, Trump's corruption seems to be coming at such a fast pace. The number, the dollar count that he's accrued since he's come back in office has just gone up and up and up exponentially.
Oh, yeah. Crazy.
It's almost hard to keep track of it, like how rampant the corruption is. It's hard to see it as one whole picture because of the scale and the pace.
Right.
And I think it's a challenge for Democrats to message on. We have to get highly specific. So there is a generic anger we see it in polling, a generic anger about the corruption. And what the trick is going to be making that into a specific anger about these specific things that he's done. And, of course, bouncing that off of the fact that people are getting poorer and poorer because of inflation while Trump rakes in billions.
Andrew, that's a really good point because as long as we talk about affordability and inflation and prices, that's great. But it does have to be joined with the corruption thing, because Trump can't stop himself from defending his own corruption and his boys. And also, I think one other thing, and I don't know if you have any numbers on this, but the stock market is not the economy for Americans.
I think, you're never going to, the issue with that message is that you can't talk people out of it. It's like the association between the stock market and the economy is wrong. It's false.
Well, those Wall Street fellows seem pretty smart. They must know what's going on.
Right. It's erroneous to think that the stock market is the economy, but the association is very strong. So talking people out of that is a tough hill to climb, I think.
Yeah.
And of course, the stock market does fine. It does great because it's gambling. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to talk about, and that maybe we could brainstorm a lot here. It would be interesting. One thing we're seeing a lot in recent polling is people are upset about data centers.
Yes, they are.
People are very upset about data centers, and this is across the country, and we know about it here in Florida. We have a lot of data center projects that are being proposed and being put up, and there's a lot of local opposition. There's a lot of national opposition, and I'm not totally against data centers, for the record. I think they are necessary infrastructure to build up the country to be ready for the AI. But people are very upset because they are going up quickly and they are driving up prices, especially with utilities. And I think sort of a magic trick would be connecting Trump to these data centers. And I think part of that is showing people how much money he's gotten from these tech billionaires.
From Larry Ellison and Oracle and OpenAI and Greg Brockman and Sam Altman and David Sachs and Peter Thiel. And there's a way to turn those AI overlords into the faces of data centers.
Again,
look, in Florida, Byron Donalds, the Republican candidate, is being bankrolled, folks, by the data center industry, by the big tech guys. And in Florida, they want to build 2,400 data centers in the next 3 years. And even very red counties, there's a county up here in North Florida called Wakulla County, and it is as red as you think it is, both of vote and neck. And Wakulla County voted against data centers, and they need jobs desperately. They're a small, poor county. And they're like, nope, no thank you, passing on the data centers.
Yeah, well, I mean, you think about Florida, all the water in Florida, the whole state comes from the aquifer. All this water underground it's our drinking water, it's everything that we have, and these data centers are threatening to like suck it all up and poison it. And it's a critical part of the environment here. Anyway, I think the trick again is turning the general anger about data centers into something specific connected to Trump and Republicans. And I think if Democrats can nail that with all these candidates,
they don't even. It's not even that hard to stick the landing on that one.
No, I wouldn't say. But it's sort of like a flashing red light opportunity for Democrats to hop on this, and I haven't seen that yet.
I mean, I know Republicans are terrified of the issue now. In Florida, and I've seen polling about it in Florida and in North Carolina. In both states, Republicans are suddenly like, I don't know about those data centers anymore. What they could be problematic. So that's something to really keep an eye on in the coming weeks if Democrats can grab onto that issue. And I think for Florida, it's already front and center in both the Senate race and the governor's race in particular, but the Senate race as well. And we're watching both of those races very closely, because if this red tidal or this blue tidal wave is as big as we think it is, it's going to draw Florida from that red state long shot into the purple state in play. And we're getting a lot closer to that every single day with the overperformance we've seen from both Jolly and Vindman in the last bunch of polls. So,
I agree with that 100%. And speaking of overperformance, I don't know if we have any generic ballot numbers today. Do we look at those, or do we have those?
Didn't we have some generic ballot?
We might have, but I'm not sure.
Who can say?
Who can say? We don't have them, apparently. But, we're seeing a lot of these generic ballot numbers.
There's the House poll.
Okay, this is the House poll. And we do have a generic ballot there. So this is which party do voters want running the House. 44% say Democrats, 37 Republicans. Again, this looks great for Democrats. It looks really good. D+4 is solid.
Could be better.
Could be a lot better. But I also think, again, it's worth reiterating, generic ballot does not capture what we will see on election day in terms of Democratic performance. I think
correct.
I think it will generally underestimate Democratic performance by 1 or 2 or 3 points. So that puts a lot of districts here in Florida and elsewhere. That puts a lot of districts within reach. And we've talked about like surprises in these elections. I think you will see deep red districts that have been deep red since 2012-ish flip back to Democrats. And, Republicans are and have achieved a significant amount of mitigation with redistricting, with mid-decade redistricting.
Oh, sure.
They have blunted the effect of the blue tidal wave that we're talking about. And that
not enough though, folks, to truly reset the map.
No,
they're not going to pull a win out of it generically.
No, not enough to reset the map, enough to defend themselves, enough to maintain a pretty powerful minority, but not enough to keep the House.
Not enough to bring them all the way home.
And the Senate again still in play. I think we didn't really touch too much on South Carolina last week.
Oh yeah,
but I do want to talk about that for a second.
Let's dive into that for a second.
I want to preface this by saying that I don't think a Democrat can win this seat necessarily. It's a very tough.
It's a tough state.
Very deep red state.
Yeah, it's also extremely conservative and very Republican.
Yes, very, very conservative. Very Republican.
Don't dump a ton of money into there.
Don't.
Look, and that's not to say Andrews isn't a great campaigner, great candidate. She's done a great job, but man, it is still a very high hill to climb.
But all that being said, I think it's worth noting that Nancy Mace, in the recent polling in South Carolina's Senate primary, is losing. So, sorry, Nancy, you're not going back to Washington, D.C.
No, I'm afraid, Nancy, your time.
It's really too bad.
Is over.
She's been rejected by the president and by the voters.
Yeah, Nancy's not in a great spot.
It's really tough to be Nancy Mace sometimes.
Time to get those pajamas out and have a cocktail. Because apparently she likes both pajamas and cocktails.
Well, who doesn't?
Who among us?
Can you really blame her for that?
At this point in my life, I cannot blame her at all. So, but what else? We've got one more poll about standing in the world. Doing good, Donald. We're very respected. We're the hottest country anywhere.
This was I want to say this was very similar in 2016. Trump has a pattern when it comes to dealing with foreign leaders, especially our allies. He hates our allies because they are democracies, and he doesn't like democracy. He likes authoritarians and autocrats.
Yes, he does.
He has aligned us with those people, and generally Americans do not like those people. They don't like Xi Jinping. They don't like Vladimir Putin or Viktor Orban, but Trump does. Now, you have seen recently Trump cozy up a little more to Zelensky because he feels like Zelensky's winning.
He likes a winner.
And I can't say I hate that.
No.
Ukraine's sort of slipped out of a lot of the polling as a big issue.
Yeah, for sure.
But it could rear its head.
I think it's the perception that Ukraine is winning.
Yeah, I think so. Thank God.
Yeah.
Trump, of course, has nothing to do with that, but he will take credit. Here we go.
I was there with him all along. I never stopped loving him. We made beautiful love together.
Zelensky is more favorable than Trump. Don't tell Trump that. He'll probably lose his mind. Of course,
Putin's just rocking it. Putin's killing it.
Who are the 8% that say Putin is a good guy?
Benny Johnson.
You have to
Tim
wonder.
Pool, Lawrence
People are getting checks.
the people getting paid.
So we can confidently say that 8% of Americans are receiving a stimulus check from Vladimir Putin.
Yep.
That's nice.
My favorite story, after Mike Flynn tried to sue me for calling him a Putin employee, he's now working for the Prime Minister of Serbia, who is the most egregious Putin suck up in the universe, who wants Serbia to be merged with Mother Russia somehow. Amazing.
Yeah.
I guess cash in while you can there, Michael.
Yeah. Putin, the clock is ticking. I really feel like.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet.
Listen, I'm telling you, the guy is living in a bunker. He is surrounded by loyalists of the last sort of, Ba'ath Party, SS version of in Russia, and he could not walk out in the streets of Moscow.
I doubt it. Yeah, and this will be an interesting thing to see how candidates in 2028 are going to deal with Ukraine, because yes, Ukraine is winning, but it seems like the resolution is still relatively far in the future.
Yeah, the problem is Ukraine has now put Russia economically into a spiral.
Yeah,
but Russia still has one thing Ukraine doesn't, and that is millions more people.
Yeah,
and they're going to meat wave them as
constantly.
Once Putin's September. The Russian Duma elections are in September. I think the first week of September, second week of September. Once that happens, they're going to probably do a national mobilization, and that would probably put 800,000 to 1.5 million men into the pool.
Can you really pull that off?
Ukraine will kill them just as efficiently as they've killed the rest of them, but that's the one thing Russia has that the meat wave that Ukraine can't match. They just don't have the same population.
Yeah, and it's interesting to think back to Biden and how he was managing the war. We were giving them a lot of resources, a lot more than we pulled back somewhat. And I'm interested to see what 2028 candidates are going to say about that. Rubio used to be
a Ukraine hawk.
And he's very much a different character these days. The viceroy of Venezuela.
Oh my God, I'm so tired of it. I'm so fucking tired of it. It's just like, the problem with it is that really irritates me about Marco is you and I both know this guy, and he is absolutely without a soul when it comes to this. He's got the presidency in his sights. That's all he cares about.
It's all he's ever wanted. It's all he's ever wanted.
He'll flip either direction, any which way but loose, and he will do everything he can to. If Ukraine is going to win, he'll flood the zone for Ukraine. If Putin somehow had a good week, he's going to flood back to Putin. It's just Trump's ideas on Ukraine no longer define the Republican Party.
Right.
Position on Ukraine. Because they were against, and now suddenly he's like Zelensky again, and now they're like, yes, well, of course we've always been with you, sir.
You see in the polling, like Vance, Rubio are the top picks for the Republican primary right now. Now we're a long way off.
That's mostly a name ID function, folks.
Mostly a name ID function. Now they will be on the stage, guaranteed. Vance and Rubio, 100% will be on the stage. But I'm holding my breath because I feel like Rubio is going to try and grasp this nomination with both hands as hard as he possibly can. And
folks, if you didn't see the Carol Lenning NBC story, Carol Lenning Kindlewanian NBC story yesterday about Mr. Fancy Vance flying his son do sports ball lessons in a government helicopter. Man of the people there, JD. Hillbilly elegy, baby.
Truly,
you're just one of us.
It's a trend in the Trump administration to use government planes and helicopters for your own personal use. It
is quite remarkable. It is quite remarkable. Hey, well, Andrew, you've got some news coming up for us in the next few days.
Baby coming next
deliver
week.
The grandson.
Yeah, very soon.
Everything's good. You guys are excited.
Everything's good. The nursery is under construction.
Don't worry, the baby will be in bed with you guys for the first few weeks. Yeah. So, well, good. Good. We're all excited for you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
I have to say I will not be on next week.
No, you're not going to be on.
I won't be joining you next week. So
no, you will not. And that is perfectly understandable. But anyway, folks, we will see you again next time. I may do it next Friday. We'll see. Actually, I'm traveling next Friday. Can't do it next Friday. We're off next Friday, folks.
See ya.
Sorry. I will be far away in another country, unfortunately. But fortunately or unfortunately, depending on where you live. Anyway, folks, stay tight. We're going to see you again very soon. And we appreciate all the kind comments. And do me a favor, if you are watching this on whatever platform you're watching us on, like, subscribe, follow, whatever the magic key on your platform is. We'd really appreciate it. And check out my Substack at Against All Enemies. You can also find me on the Lincoln Project podcast, The Breakdown, The Strategy Session, and God knows what else. All right, folks, we'll see you again next time.